Captain Jake Miller stood on the bridge of the experimental starship Valkyrie. Through the large windows, Saturn's golden rings filled the view. Jake had spent 20 years training for this moment. Now he commanded Earth's most advanced ship on humanity's first mission past Jupiter. "Captain, we have movement on the sensors," Officer Nancy Kim reported. Her voice stayed calm, but Jake saw her hands tighten on the console. "Show me," Jake ordered. The main screen lit up. 3 unknown ships appeared near Saturn's outer ring. They were smooth and silver, shaped like teardrops. Nothing like human ships. "First contact protocol, everyone," Jake said. His crew moved to their assigned positions. This was the moment they had prepared for. The alien ships moved closer. Jake could see weapon ports along their sides. These were military vessels. "They're sending a message," Nancy said. Strange sounds filled the bridge. The computer worked to translate. After a moment, words appeared on the screen. "Primitive species detected. Surrender for processing. Resistance will result in termination." Jake read the message twice. Not exactly the friendly greeting Earth had hoped for. "Sir, they're charging weapons," reported Weapons Officer Tom Bradley. Jake's mind raced. The Valkyrie had basic weapons, but these alien ships looked far more advanced. In a straight fight, they would lose. "Plot a course into Saturn's rings," Jake ordered. "Sir?" Nancy looked confused. "Trust me. Full speed into the rings." The crew followed orders. The Valkyrie turned and accelerated toward the dense field of ice and rock that formed Saturn's rings. The alien commander, Krextall, watched from his ship. His 4 eyes narrowed in confusion. "The primitives flee into the debris field," his second officer reported. "Follow them. Their crude ship will be destroyed by the rings. We will collect the wreckage." The 3 alien ships pursued. But as they entered the rings, something strange happened. The human ship danced between the floating rocks. It spun, dived, and climbed with impossible grace. "How are they doing that?" Krextall demanded. "Unknown Commander, our computers cannot predict their movements." Jake gripped his controls. He had grown up flying stunt planes through thunderstorms. Compared to Earth weather, these rocks moved in predictable patterns. "Nancy, target the lead ship's engines. Tom, prepare missile tubes 1 and 2. The Valkyrie suddenly flipped backward while still moving forward. The move should have been impossible. The alien ship's computers crashed trying to process it. "Fire," Jake commanded. 2 missiles streaked out. The aliens tried to dodge, but they moved like their computers told them to, predictably. The missiles hit perfectly. The lead alien ship exploded in a ball of blue fire. "Impossible!" Krextall screamed. "No primitive species can fly like that." Jake wasn't done. He guided the Valkyrie through a cluster of house-sized ice chunks. The second alien ship tried to follow. It clipped a rock and spun out of control, crashing into a larger asteroid. 2 down, Tom reported. Krextall's ship hung back. The commander's 4 hands shook as he watched the human ship perform another impossible turn. "Retreat," he ordered. "We must report this to the Empire." The last alien ship turned and fled. Jake let it go. Earth needed someone to spread the word. Humans were not easy prey. "Damage report," Jake called out. "Minor scratches to the hull. All systems green," Nancy responded. Jake looked at his crew. They had just won humanity's first space battle, but he knew this was only the beginning. "Send a message to Earth," he said. "Tell them we made contact, and tell them to build more ships fast." As the Valkyrie emerged from Saturn's rings, Jake wondered what he had just started. Somewhere out there, an alien empire had just learned that humans didn't fly by the rules. The galaxy would never be the same. Image description for Leonardo AI. A sleek experimental human spaceship with angular design flying through Saturn's golden rings, dodging massive chunks of ice and rock, with 3 teardrop-shaped silver alien vessels in pursuit. One exploding in blue flames, another spinning out of control after hitting an asteroid. Saturn's pale yellow surface visible in the background. Dramatic space lighting with stars. The Galactic Council chamber was larger than any building on Earth. Representatives from 50 different species sat in curved rows. The air smelled strange, filtered for beings who breathed different gases. Ambassador Lisa Carter adjusted her breathing mask. She was one of only 3 humans in the massive room. 6 months had passed since Captain Jake Miller's encounter at Saturn. Now, Earth had its first embassy among the stars. Order. Order. The council speaker, a tall creature with blue scales, hit a crystal gavel. We address the human situation today. Lisa stood up. As she walked to the center platform, hundreds of alien eyes watched her. Some species had 2 eyes, others had 8. All looked worried. The council recognizes Ambassador Carter of Earth, the speaker announced. Before Lisa could speak, a 4-armed representative interrupted. Speaker, I protest. The humans attacked a Zephyrian patrol without warning. That's not true, Lisa said calmly. Your ships demanded our surrender. They fired first. Lies. The Zephyrian stood, his purple skin flushing darker. No primitive species could destroy 2 of our cruisers. Another alien stood up. This one looked like a giant praying. The Quellians support the human account. We also encountered human pilots. They flew through our asteroid mining field at speeds our computers called suicidal. Yet they survived? The speaker asked. All of them, the Quellian confirmed. They laughed while doing it. A murmur ran through the chamber. Lisa tried not to smile. A round, gray alien floated up from its seat. The Vorten representative's voice sounded like bubbles popping. We must share our experience too. Last month, a human cargo ship did barrel rolls to avoid our security scan. Barrel rolls in space, our physics models say this cannot work. But it did work, the speaker pressed. Yes. Our scientists are still trying to understand how. More representatives stood. Each had similar stories. Human pilots doing impossible things. Human ships moving in ways that broke computer models. Human crews treating deadly situations like games. The speaker raised 4 of his 6 arms for silence. Ambassador Carter, please explain. How do your pilots do these things? Lisa took a breath. She had prepared for this question. Most species in this council have telepathic abilities. You use these abilities to navigate space, to share thoughts instantly, to coordinate movements. Heads nodded around the chamber, or what counted as heads for some species. Humans have no telepathy, Lisa continued. We evolved differently. We use something called instinct. Instinct? The speaker's scale shifted color, showing confusion. Define this word. It's making decisions without thinking. Feeling the right choice instead of calculating it. The chamber exploded in noise. Representatives talking in dozens of languages. The translation system struggled to keep up. Impossible, shouted the Zephyrian. Spaceflight requires precise calculations. Not for humans, Lisa said. We grew up on a planet that tries to kill us. Storms that can rip buildings apart. Oceans that swallow ships. Mountains that explode with fire. We learned to react fast or die. A thin, silver alien stood. The Altarian's voice sounded like wind chimes. You're saying humans pilot ships by guessing? Not guessing. Feeling. When you grow up dodging Earth predators, racing through forests, surfing giant waves, space seems almost calm. The speaker leaned forward. Show us proof. Lisa touched her tablet. A hologram appeared above the platform. It showed human children playing something called Mario Kart. Racing at insane speeds, jumping impossible gaps while throwing objects at each other. This is a children's game on Earth, Lisa explained. Several aliens made sounds of distress. One fainted. Children? The speaker asked weakly. Yes. We also have sports like wingsuit flying, where humans jump off mountains with fabric wings, or free climbing where we scale cliffs with no safety equipment. More aliens looked sick. The Vorthon representative spoke again. Are you saying humans seek danger and for fun? Yes, Lisa said simply. That's why we make excellent pilots. We've been practicing for death our entire lives." The chamber fell silent. The implications were clear. The galaxy's newest species treated mortal danger as entertainment. Their children trained on simulations that would terrify military veterans. They flew by instinct in situations where computers failed. The speaker cleared his throat. "The Council will need time to process this information." As Lisa returned to her seat, she heard whispers in alien languages. The translator caught fragments. Impossible species, death world survivors, natural warriors. She smiled. The galaxy had just learned why human pilots were special. They had learned to fear them. Image description for Leonardo AI, a massive circular alien council chamber with curved seating tiers filled with diverse alien species. Mantis-like beings. Four-armed purple humanoids floating gray spheres, crystalline entities. All focused on a lone human female ambassador standing at a central platform. Holographic display showing human children playing video games above her. Ornate alien architecture, with bioluminescent lighting. Worried alien expressions. Lieutenant Sam Johnson checked his flight suit one last time. Behind him, 12 rookie pilots waited nervously. Today was their first run through the Titan training course, the most dangerous pilot training in human space. "Listen up, rookies," Sam called out. "Today you learn why aliens fear human pilots. Half of you might not finish this course." "Sir, is that a joke?" asked Private Amy Chen, barely 19 years old. Sam smiled. "You'll find out. Mount up." The rookies climbed into their training fighters. These were old models, stripped down to basics. No fancy computers, no autopilot. Just engines, wings, and guts. Above them, in a observation pod, sat 3 alien observers. Zixmar, the famous Krellian military strategist, watched through 6 eyes. His 2 companions, a Vorthon analyst and a Quellian pilot, looked equally nervous. "Why are we so high above the course?" the Vorthon asked. "Safety distance," the human guide explained. "Sometimes ships crash up here." Zixmar's tentacles twitched. "The training area is 50 kilometers below us. How could they possibly crash this high?" "You'll see." Sam's voice crackled over the radio. "Rookie squadron, launch when ready. Remember, survive first, show off second." 12 ships launched from the platform. They dove straight down toward Titan, Saturn's largest moon. The thick methane atmosphere grabbed them like angry hands. "First challenge," Sam announced. "Navigate the methane storm. Wind speed is only 300 kilometers per hour today. Nice and easy." The Krellian gasped. "Only. Our ships would be torn apart." Below, the rookies hit the storm. Orange clouds swirled around them. Lightning cracked between methane ice crystals. 2 ships immediately spun out of control. "Chen, Ross, stop fighting the wind," Sam shouted. "Ride it like a wave." Amy Chen remembered her surfing lessons in Hawaii. She stopped trying to fly straight. Instead, she let her ship dance with the wind. Suddenly, the chaotic storm made sense. Better. Now dive for the ice fields. The squadron burst through the cloud layer. Below them, Titan's surface gleamed with frozen methane lakes and jagged ice mountains. Sam led them between towering ice spikes at breakneck speed. "They're flying too low," the Quellian pilot observed. "One mistake and they'll hit the surface. That's the point," the human guide said. One rookie misjudged a turn. His ship clipped an ice formation and tumbled across a frozen lake, finally stopping upside down. "Johnson down," Sam noted calmly. "Medical team, go fetch him. Rest of you, keep up." They approached a massive canyon filled with vapor geysers. The geysers shot superhot gas thousands of meters high at random intervals. "Thread the needle, rookies. Time your runs between eruptions." The aliens watched in horror as human pilots deliberately flew into an active volcanic zone. Ships dodged between gas columns that could melt metal. "This is insane," Zixmar shouted. "No rational species would train like this." "We're not done yet," Sam said over the radio. "Final test, the gravity sling." Ahead loomed a training station with artificial gravity generators. They created chaotic, shifting gravity fields that changed every few seconds. Use the gravity changes to boost speed. First one through gets weekend leave. The rookies hit the gravity maze at full throttle. Ships tumbled, spun, and rolled as gravity pulled them in different directions. Amy Chen shut off her engines completely, using only gravity to slingshot around obstacles. Cadet Chen is flying without power, the Vorthan squeaked. She'll crash. But Amy knew exactly what she was doing. She had practiced this move in Earth's mountains, using updrafts and downdrafts. Space was just another kind of air current. She shot out of the maze first, engines roaring back to life. Beautiful flying, Chen, Sam called. Rest of you, finish up. 3 more rookies crashed out. 7 made it through. The aliens sat in stunned silence. This is beginner training? Zixmar asked weakly. Week 1, the guide confirmed. Next week they do it at night. Week 3, we add combat simulations. Week 4, they do it backwards. The Krellian strategist turned to his companions. I must report this to the Imperial fleet. They need to know what we're facing. What will you tell them? The Quellian asked. That humans don't train pilots. They breed survivors. And survivors make the most dangerous enemies. Below, Sam gathered his muddy, exhausted rookies. Good work today. Tomorrow we do it again. Faster. Amy Chen grinned despite her bruises. She was starting to understand why aliens feared human pilots. They were all completely insane. Image description. For Leonardo AI, human fighter pilots flying through a violent orange methane storm on Titan with lightning bolts dodging between massive ice spikes and vapor geysers shooting up from the frozen surface. Saturn visible in the background sky. Small training spacecraft weaving through obstacles. Alien observers watching from a pod, high above looking terrified. Dramatic lighting with orange and blue atmospheric effects. Commander Amy Rodriguez gripped her control stick as enemy fire lit up the space around Proxima Station. The Krellian fleet had arrived with 30 warships. Earth's defenders had 12. Helldivers, form up on me, Amy commanded. Her squadron of 6 ships responded instantly. The Krellian Admiral Vextor watched from his flagship's bridge. His tactical computers showed an easy victory. The humans were outnumbered, outgunned, and trapped against the planet's gravity well. Begin standard assault pattern, Vextor ordered. Destroy them quickly. Amy studied the tactical display. Proxima B loomed behind them, a rocky world with crushing gravity. Most pilots would see it as a trap. Amy saw opportunity. Divers, prepare for Phoenix dive on my mark. Commander, that's suicide, Lieutenant Bobby Chen protested. The gravity will pull us down. Trust me. Cut engines in 3, 2, 1. Mark. 6 human ships killed their engines simultaneously. The Krellian computers screamed warnings as the human vessels began falling toward the planet. They've lost power, a Krellian officer reported. Their ships are crashing. Maintain fire, Vextor ordered, but something felt wrong. Amy watched her altimeter spin wildly. The planet's gravity grabbed her ship, pulling faster and faster. Her crew fought to stay conscious as G-forces crushed them into their seats. Falling speed at 500 kilometers per second, 600, 700. Bobby's voice strained against the pressure. The Krellian ships tried to track the falling humans. Their targeting computers failed. The math didn't work. Nothing could survive this dive. 800 kilometers per second, Bobby shouted. Wait for it. Amy watched the planet rush up to meet them. Her grandfather had been a cliff diver in Mexico. He taught her timing was everything. The Krellian computers crashed one by one. Their algorithms couldn't process what they were seeing. Ships didn't fall this fast and survive. The probability calculator showed 0.1% survival chance. 900. Bobby's voice cracked. Now, Amy roared. Full power. Pull up. 6 sets of engines exploded to life. The human ships screamed as they fought against gravity. Metal groaned. Pilots blacked out from the strain. But slowly, impossibly, the ships began to curve away from the planet. Impossible! Vextor slammed his tentacles on the command console. Nothing can survive that much gravity, but the humans did more than survive. They used the gravity-boosted speed to shoot past the Krellian fleet like bullets. The massive velocity made them impossible to target. Fire solution ready, Amy called out. The Phoenix dive had put them behind the Krellian formation. At this speed, even basic weapons became devastating. Torpedoes away! The Helldivers fired everything they had. Missiles and plasma bolts struck the Krellian ships from behind. At near light speed, the impacts were catastrophic. The Krellian flagship's shields crumpled like paper. Vextor's bridge exploded around him as human weapons tore through his ship. How? He gasped as his command ship broke apart. The physics say this cannot happen. 3 Krellian warships became expanding clouds of debris. Others spun out of control, their computers still trying to understand how the humans had survived. Amy's squadron pulled out of their attack run, engines straining against the massive speeds they had achieved. 2 of her pilots had passed out. 1 ship showed critical damage, but they were alive. Helldivers, sound off. 2 here, still breathing. 3, I can't feel my legs, but I'm good. 4, someone tell me we're not doing that again. 5 here, I think I threw up in my helmet. 6, that was better than a roller coaster. Amy smiled despite the blood running from her nose. The Phoenix dive had worked. 6 human ships had just destroyed the pride of the Krellian fleet. The remaining alien ships retreated in chaos. Their commanders couldn't explain what happened. Their scientists would spend years trying to understand how humans had turned certain death into victory. Station Control, this is Helldiver 1, Amy reported. Hostile fleet destroyed or retreating. Proxima Station is secure. Diver 1, please repeat. Our sensors showed you falling into the planet. We were. Then we decided not to. It's a human thing. Back on Krell Prime, military academics would study this battle for generations. They would write papers about gravitational physics and survival probabilities. They would create new equations to explain the impossible, but they would never understand the simple truth. Humans didn't care what physics said was impossible. If it looked cool and might work, they would try it anyway. The Phoenix dive became legend, and every alien fleet commander learned to fear the words, "Human pilots inbound," because humans had one rule in space combat: physics be die. Dr. Alex Turner stood before the Galactic Council's Science Committee. The room was smaller than the main chamber, but the beings here controlled military doctrine for half the galaxy. Today, they wanted answers about human pilots. Please begin. Your presentation, Dr. Turner, the committee chair said. She was a Zelanti, with crystal-like skin that changed colors with her mood. Alex activated his holographic display. A human brain appeared, rotating slowly. Thank you. I'm here to explain why human pilots seem to break your understanding of combat. The answer lies in our evolution. The brain image zoomed in, showing neural pathways lighting up. Humans evolved as persistence predators. We didn't catch prey by being fastest or strongest. We caught them by never stopping. Our ancestors would chase animals for hours until they collapsed from exhaustion. A Krellian scientist raised a tentacle. What does ancient hunting have to do with space combat? Everything, Alex replied. This hunting method required 2 crucial abilities. First, pattern recognition. We had to predict where prey would run. Second, risk assessment. We had to decide instantly whether to jump over a cliff or go around. The display changed to show Earth. The planet looked beautiful from space, but Alex knew better. We also evolved on what you call a death world. Earth has hurricanes that can destroy entire cities, earthquakes that split the ground, volcanoes that bury whole regions in fire, plus countless predators that saw humans as food. The Zelanti chair's skin flickered to yellow, indicating surprise. You evolved surrounded by death? Correct. Human children play games about escaping danger. Our entertainment involves risk. We climb mountains for fun. We dive into ocean depths just to see what's there. The display showed human children playing a video game. Spaceships twisted through asteroid fields while shooting at enemies. This is Space Commander, our most popular children's game. Notice the complexity. Players must track 12 different variables while making split-second decisions. A Vorthon committee member floated forward. Our military simulators are less complex than this children's game. Exactly, Alex said. By age 10, human children have trained their brains to process multiple threat scenarios simultaneously. Your species evolved in stable environments. You had time to think, to calculate. Humans never had that luxury. The hologram shifted to show a comparison. On one side, an alien pilot's brain during combat, orderly, methodical thinking. On the other, a human pilot's brain, chaotic explosions of activity across multiple regions. When your pilots see danger, they calculate the best response. When human pilots see danger, their brains run thousands of scenarios instantly. We don't think about the best choice, we feel it. You're saying humans fly by emotion? The Krellian sounded horrified. Not emotion. Instinct, refined by evolution. Watch this. The display showed combat footage from the recent Proxima Station battle. Amy Rodriguez's Phoenix dive played out in slow motion. Notice how Commander Rodriguez never hesitated. Her brain calculated gravity vectors, engine thrust, structural limits, and enemy positions, all without conscious thought. To her, this felt natural. The committee members made various sounds of disbelief, but the survival probability was nearly zero. The chair protested. Your computers said that. But human brains don't work like computers. We process patterns your machines miss. We factor in possibilities your algorithms ignore. Alex brought up another image. Early human hunters chasing a mammoth off a cliff. 50,000 years ago, humans learned to turn certain death into victory. We hunted massive creatures by driving them into traps. Every hunt could kill us, but we got very good at judging exactly how much risk we could survive. The Zelante's skin turned deep blue, indicating understanding. You're saying human pilots succeed because they evolved to gamble with death? Precisely. What looks like madness to you is calculation to us. We call it gut feeling, or flying by the seat of our pants. But it's really millions of years of evolution packed into split-second decisions. The display showed one final image. Human children playing on a playground, swinging across monkey bars over a cushioned surface. We even train our young to judge distances and momentum. Every human childhood game involves some form of risk assessment. By the time we reach space, we've spent decades practicing for it. The committee sat in silence. Finally, the chair spoke. Dr. Turner, you're telling us that humans make impossible pilots because your entire species evolved as calculating risk takers on a planet trying to kill you? Yes, and we turned survival into entertainment. That's why your computers can't predict us. We don't follow logical patterns because our logic includes factors your species never needed to consider. Such as? Alex smiled. Such as, this might be fun, or let's see what happens, or my personal favorite, hold my beer and watch this. The committee members exchanged worried glances. They had wanted an explanation they could counter. Instead, they learned human pilots were dangerous because being human meant dancing with death, and humans had been practicing that dance for 50,000 years. Image description for Leonardo AI. A futuristic conference room with alien scientists of various species sitting at a curved table, watching a human presenter beside a large holographic display, showing a split-screen comparison of human and alien brain patterns during combat, with chaotic, colorful neural activity on the human side and orderly patterns on the alien side. Crystalline, alien architecture. Soft blue lighting. Wing Commander Danny White walked through the entrance of the Altarian Military Academy. The silver buildings reached into the sky like crystal spears. Everything was perfect, orderly, and completely boring. Welcome, Commander White, said Director Kexlan. The tall, thin alien's voice sounded like wind chimes. You are our first human exchange instructor. Happy to be here, Danny lied. He missed Earth already. This place was too clean. Your students wait in Simulation Hall 7. They are our best pilots. Danny followed the director through spotless corridors. Other aliens stopped to stare. Word had spread about the human pilot, who would teach their fighters. The simulation hall was massive. 20 Altarian cadets stood at attention. Their silver skin gleamed under the artificial lights. At ease, Danny said. The cadets relaxed slightly. I'm Commander White. I'm here to teach you human combat tactics. One cadet raised a three-fingered and Sir, we have studied your battles. Your tactics violate 17 principles of space combat. Good. Then you're ready to learn 18 more violations. Danny grinned. First lesson. Sometimes the best defense is ramming speed. The cadets made whistling sounds, their version of gasping. You suggest deliberate collision? The cadet sounded shocked. Sure. If your shields are down and weapons are gone. What's left? Your ship is a weapon too, Director Kexlan interrupted. Commander, our ships are valuable. We don't use them as projectiles. That's why you lose to humans. We use everything as weapons. Ships, asteroids, even space junk. Second lesson, playing dead. Playing dead? Another cadet asked. Cut power, drift like debris, wait for enemies to get close, then surprise. Full power and attack. We call it the possum maneuver. The director's skin pattern shifted, showing confusion. But tactical computers would detect life signs. Not if you vent atmosphere and run on battery power. Your computers look for active ships, not floating junk. A young cadet stepped forward. These tactics are dishonest. Dead pilots don't care about honor, Danny replied. Living pilots win wars. Now, who wants to try something called the Tokyo Drift? What is Tokyo Drift? Sliding sideways through space while firing. It's from ancient Earth racing. Here, let me show you. Danny climbed into a simulator pod. The main screen lit up, showing a virtual battle space. 20 enemy ships appeared. Now watch closely. Danny grabbed the controls and immediately did something impossible. He shut off the main engines but kept the side thrusters on full. His ship began sliding sideways at high speed. Computer error, a cadet shouted. Ships cannot move laterally without forward thrust. Humans don't care what ships cannot do, Danny replied. He spun his sliding ship, firing in all directions. The confused enemy AI couldn't track his movement. See? They expect you to fly forward. Nobody expects the sideways ship. In 30 seconds, Danny destroyed all 20 targets. The room fell silent. Then the training AI spoke. Combat simulation failed. Request immediate shutdown for critical logic errors. That happens a lot around humans, Danny said, climbing out. Director Kexlan's skin had turned pale. You broke our training system. Good. Real combat breaks systems too. Your cadets need to learn that. An older cadet raised his hand. Commander, I wish to challenge you. Proper combat. Your ship against mine. Sure, kid. What's your name? Zachtel. Top of my class. They climbed into separate simulators. The screen showed two ships facing each other in open space. Standard duel rules, Zachtel announced. Best tactics win. Sounds boring, Danny said. But okay. The match began. Zachtel flew perfectly. Textbook maneuvers, precise angles, calculated attacks. Danny flew like a drunk butterfly. What are you doing? Zachtel demanded as Danny's ship spun randomly. It's called hold my beer flying. Very technical. Danny's ship suddenly flipped backward while maintaining forward speed. He flew the entire battle in reverse, shooting over his shoulder. Zachtel's targeting computer crashed trying. Fleet Admiral Thaxivor studied the star charts in his command center. The Dominion Armada had assembled the largest fleet in their history, 200 warships, 50 cruisers, and the pride of their navy, the dreadnought Inevitable Victory. Earth stands no chance, Thaxivor declared to his staff. They have only 60 ships. Simple mathematics guarantees our success. His second-in-command, Captain Meltok, shifted nervously. Admiral, perhaps we should consider the human reputation. Reputation? Thaxivor's 6 eyes narrowed. They are lucky primitives, nothing more. When we attack with overwhelming force, luck means nothing. Earth's defense fleet waited near Jupiter. Commander Kate Brown stood on the bridge of the Dakota, watching the Dominion ships emerge from hyperspace. That's a lot of ships, her weapons officer Paul Kim observed. Good, Kate smiled. More targets. Signal all civilian vessels. Begin. Operation Crazy Ivan. Across the solar system, something strange happened. Cargo ships, mining vessels, even private yachts began moving. They scattered in seemingly random directions. On the inevitable victory, Sensors Officer Kextar reported, Admiral detecting massive ship movement. 300 vessels fleeing in all directions. Civilian evacuation, Thaxivor dismissed. Ignore them. Focus on the military ships. But Kate Brown had other plans. Phase 1 complete. All civilian pilots, remember? You're not running away. You're running to position. The Dominion fleet advanced in perfect formation. Their tactical computers calculated optimal firing solutions. Everything proceeded according to millennia of established naval doctrine. Then the humans did something unexpected. Their military ships scattered too. They're breaking formation, Meltok reported. Their fleet is dissolving. Cowards, Thaxivor sneered. They run at the sight of our armada, pursue and destroy. The Dominion fleet broke into hunting packs. Groups of alien ships chased individual human vessels through space. Some humans fled toward asteroid belts. Others dove into Jupiter's radiation fields. Many hid behind moons. Admiral? Kextar's voice wavered. The cargo ships have stopped running. They're turning around. What? On the bridge of a beat-up transport ship, Captain Joe Martinez grinned at his volunteer crew, accountants, teachers, shop owners who had answered Earth's call. Remember, folks, we're not soldiers. We're just crazy humans with engines. Ram them hard. 300 civilian ships accelerated to full speed. They came from every direction, above, below, behind. The Dominion's computers screamed warnings. Collision alert, multiple vectors, Kextar shouted. They wouldn't dare. Thaxivor stood up. Those are civilian ships. But humans did dare. The first cargo hauler slammed into a Dominion cruiser. Both ships exploded in brilliant fireballs. Then another hit. And another. They're using suicide attacks. Meltok couldn't believe his eyes. Not suicide. Kate Brown's voice crackled over open channels. Those ships were on autopilot. But thanks for grouping up to chase them. Made targeting easier. The real trap revealed itself. Human military ships emerged from their hiding spots. Inside asteroid fields, behind moons, even surfing Jupiter's magnetic fields. They attacked from impossible angles. Phase 2, Kate commanded. All units maximum chaos. The battle became a nightmare. Human pilots flew through their own explosions. They bounced off asteroids to change direction. Military ships worked with civilian volunteers in ways the Dominion never imagined. Danny Chen, flying a mining tug, used his magnetic grapples to catch a damaged fighter. He swung it like a wrecking ball, smashing it into an enemy destroyer. Did he just use a spaceship as a club? Kextar asked weakly. The Dominion's perfect formation shattered. Their computers couldn't track targets that flew backwards, sideways, or sometimes directly into enemy fire just to cause confusion. Dreadnought shield failure, an officer reported. Human ships they're inside our formation. Kate Brown had saved her best pilots for this. The Helldivers, led by Amy Rodriguez, performed the Phoenix dive directly through the Dominion battle line. At impossible speeds, they carved through the enemy fleet. Fire everything, Thaxivor screamed, but his gunners couldn't lock onto targets that moved like insane pinballs. 2 hours later, the pride of the Dominion armada was scattered wreckage. Thaxivor's dreadnought limped away, missing half its weapons. Of 200 warships, only 40 survived. How? Thaxivor stared at the tactical display. We had superior numbers, superior firepower, superior technology. They had superior insanity, Meltok replied quietly. Kate Brown surveyed the battlefield. Earth had lost 12 military ships and 90 volunteer vessels. Each volunteer ship had been empty, running on autopilot and remote control, a detail she hadn't mentioned to the Dominion. Send message to Dominion Command, she ordered. Tell them Earth practices an ancient military doctrine. If it's stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. The Battle of Jupiter became known as Thaxivor's Folly. Military academies across the galaxy added a new course, Understanding Human Chaos Theory. The first lesson was simple. Never give humans a reason to get creative. Image description for Leonardo AI. A massive space battle scene near Jupiter showing the Dominion's organized fleet in chaos as human ships attack from all angles, civilian cargo ships ramming enemy vessels, fighters emerging from asteroid fields, ships flying backwards and sideways, explosions throughout, Jupiter's swirling surface in the background, debris scattered everywhere, mix of military and civilian human vessels in impossible formations. 5 years had passed since the Battle of Jupiter. Captain Mike Davis looked out at his newest class of students. The Terran Flight Academy was no longer just for humans. Aliens from 20 different species filled the classroom. "Welcome to your first day of human pilot training," Mike announced. "Forget everything you learned before. Here we teach you to break rules." A young Zephyrian raised a tentacle. "Captain Davis, my government pays much gold for this training. When do we learn the Phoenix Dive?" Week 3. First, you need to survive basic training. Today, we start with video games. The aliens made confused noises. Mike turned on a large screen showing a racing game. "This is Need for Speed Galactic. You'll play this 2 hours every day. It teaches timing, reflexes, and most importantly, how to crash with style." In the back row, a Krellian cadet whispered to his companion, "They train with entertainment software? I heard human children master these before they can walk." The Vorthon replied. Mike continued, "Next week we visit Earth. You'll try activities, like bungee jumping, roller coasters, and something called wingsuit flying." Several aliens turned pale, or whatever color showed fear for their species. "Sir," a timid Altarian asked, "is it true humans train by jumping from cliffs with fabric wings?" "Absolutely. How else would you learn to trust your instincts? But don't worry, we'll start small. Only 300-meter drops. Half the class made notes to call their embassies." Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chambers, the monthly meeting was underway. The topic: updated physics textbooks for the human era. Professor Zixmar stood before the assembled scholars. "After much debate, we've added Chapter 12, Human Exception Zones." He activated a hologram showing complex equations. At the bottom, in red text, it read, "Note: these calculations do not apply when humans are involved. We've identified 15 scenarios where traditional physics must be suspended," Zixmar continued. "These include humans flying backward at light speed, using planets as skateboard ramps, and something called hold my beer maneuvers." A Quellian scientist raised her hand. "Surely we can find mathematical models to explain human pilots." We tried. Our best supercomputer ran the Phoenix Dive simulation for 6 months. It concluded the maneuver was impossible, then deleted itself in protest. Across the galaxy, changes were everywhere. The Dominion Empire hired human military advisors. The Altarians redesigned their ships to handle human-style flying. The Vorthons created a new metal: survived training with humans. On trade route Sigma 7, a Zelanti cargo captain spotted pirates approaching. His crew prepared to surrender, standard protocol for civilian vessels. "Wait," the captain said. "I trained at Terra Academy last month. Let's try something human." "Sir? Cut engines. Play dead. When they get close, we'll ram them." "That's insane." "Exactly. They'll never expect it." The pirates approached the dead ship. At the last second, the cargo vessel roared to life and slammed into the pirate leader. The other pirates fled in terror. "Human tactics work," the captain cheered. "This is much more fun than surrendering." At the Terra Academy, Mike's advanced class was practicing ramming maneuvers. A Zephyrian cadet had just successfully destroyed 3 target drones by flying directly into them. "Excellent work, Kextall," Mike called out. "You're thinking like a human." "Teacher, I have a question," the cadet said. "My sister asks why I study to be insane. What do I tell her?" Mike smiled. "Tell her that in space sanity is predictable, and predictable gets you killed. Better to be alive and crazy than dead and logical." "This makes sense." Kextal's tentacles wiggled with excitement. "Can we learn Tokyo Drift next?" "Tomorrow. Today we're teaching you something called chicken. You fly directly at your classmate and see who turns away first. What if no one turns? Then you both learn why humans invented ejection seats." In her office aboard Earth Station 1, Ambassador Ellen Murphy reviewed the